It's very cold in this room. So, the next book is also a sequel, and I read the first one, and I don't think I was super critical of it, but after reading the second one and really giving the story concept some thought, it is really dumb. Um, so, it's the second book for Plagued, and this one is the Rock Island Zombie Counteractant Experiment, and it's a 2014 book, and it's the second book in the Plague States of America series. And its listed genres are sci-fi, horror, and dystopian. And I didn't really get much of the horror aspect in the first one. And if this was a movie, I could see how it could be played for horror, but I don't really feel it. But whatever, I guess. So this takes place 4 weeks after the first book, and it has different characters. Um, Lieutenant Mason Jones was serving in Egypt, and he had to return to the States after an incident where he had to kill another officer. And after a psych eval, he was deemed minimal risk and sent to Rock Island. And there's a zombie prison there because, we need to keep the zombies imprisoned and shit like that, I guess. And there's a senator lady working, and there's a senator and a lady working on a cure, and they contacted him, and they want to end this decade old breakout and heal America Donald Trump style. And there's another guy named Maddie who Mason has to help, and they clean out the pens for the zombies, because I guess the zombies are still having bowel movements and shit like that. So they're cleaning out the pins, and then he gets both of them get bit, I think. And then like Maddie shoots himself because he doesn't want to be a zombie, which so the zombies in this universe, if they get if they get if their brain is destroyed, does that mean that they're no longer a zombie? Or can you have a bodiless zombie? It's just a head and they're still trying to bite you. I have no idea. Mason is bit a few days later, but they cure him or something like that. And he suffers brain damage, and he's having a very hard time remembering who he is, I guess. So he stages a breakout. I'm not reading the third one cuz who the fuck decided that zombies make a good workforce? And one of my friends tried to explain to me what the original purpose of zombies was in literature. I don't care. Who decided that it was a good idea to make zombies? Where did this outbreak come from? Because in the first book, it was kind of implied that the government caused this outbreak because they were trying to find cures for diseases, but then it didn't work. We get more world building in this one, which is nice, but no one will answer Mason's questions. And also there's a bridge that leads to society from the prison. Why would you do that? There are only so many bullets in the world to shoot the zombies with. The senator wants to be president, and I think he's the same senator who was the dad of the main character in the last book. I don't actually remember. It doesn't seem worth the liability. I just... So that book ended up right above Persephone. Not by much though. Persephone's got that whole relationship abuse thing going on, so I mean, Persephone kind of doesn't count. Anyway, those books are such a dumb concept. Whose idea was this? And why is the water level rising? What does that have to do with the zombies? Did these two events just happen at the same time? Did they try to blow up the zombies? What? There's a whole part of the US, I'm pretty sure that they say that the Mississippi is a lot higher than it used to be. And it's why? Whatever, I guess. Anyway, the next book is called Everlasting, and it's the second book in the Queen Alpha series. Um, the first one, I guess I should probably say what that one was called as soon as I find it. The first one, I don't see it. Paper Magician is, I really should do this type of thing before I like do all of this. But for some reason, I'm not seeing the first one on my list, which is a problem because it should definitely be there. Ooh, that's not good. But it's the book with it's the Fae Paranormal book. The first book was called Eternal. This is the second one of that series. And there it goes. Eternal was between After the Devil is Won in the Watchtower. So we left off with Katerina being saved again by Dylan, and he's in wolf form. So now we know that he's kind of like a werewolf, I guess. That's the most fan fiction-y ending to leave at the first book. So Dylan yells at her again for like wandering off because this girl continually wanders off and then ends up getting attacked or something like that. And but the only reason that he got angry this time is because he couldn't track her, because if you remember, there was like some sort of like child who like drew her away from the rest of them, and the child was like part witch. And yeah, so he was scared because he couldn't smell her, because Dylan's in love with her. So they see a flyer, and Katerina's brother is blaming her for the death of their father, and she has kind of a fit. She also has kissed Dylan by now. So they climb a mountain. Tanya breaks a leg. Cassiel punctures a lung, but Kat saves him, and they end up in a cursed forest, and then in a town called Vale, and they're kind of safe. Kat is learning more of the real history rather than like that fictional crap that they just have in the library in the castle. Cassiel and Tanya are falling in love, and everybody also gets healed, by the way. And Kat tells Dylan that she might be in love with him, and he's scared of that, so now there's distance. And they find out that their gold place was burned up in a fire, so someone is doing this to them on purpose. And they contact the court wizard, probably a mistake, and he tells them to go find some monks, and he'll deal with the dark magic that's chasing them. And they get chased again, and they make it to the sanctuary, and now they can't leave. So yeah, there are 12 of these books. They're all incredibly short. I'm not entirely shocked that the four of them are pairing off. Dylan and Cassiel's bromance gives me so much life. I want to know Dylan's whole deal because he's weird, and I want to know how Cassiel is. Just a bunch of things that make me want to keep reading. I also want to know if they win, because in some ways I kind of feel like they won't win, which I'm completely fine with. You know who I really wish wouldn't win? Sia. And After the Devil has won. If she doesn't die in the next book, I'm going to be really angry. That's for later, though. I'm sorry. Oh, I just want her to die. That rant comes later, though.